To begin with, I am a teacher for international relations. No, international relations. Okay. To begin with, let us first understand what international relations means. What is the meaning of this uh, basic term or the name of the subject? As the name suggests, international. International means between two nations, and relations is, we all know this meaning of this term, relations. Okay, when we talk about international relations, I am sorry, I do not know Telugu. I can only speak in English. When we talk about international relations, that is relations between two countries. Okay, so in here we talk about one country as India always, because it is our country. We are living in this country, and UPSC is going to ask about India's relations with other countries. So India's relations with other countries. You know, what kind of relations? What kind of relations? Can anyone answer me? What kind of relations? Okay. Uh, Go to Swapna. I can see your hand raised. Please. Economic relations, financial, trade, nuclear, socio-economic, security, culture, border trading, on growth, security. Okay, great, great. You are a very lovely audience. You are a very aware audience, I would say. A lot of inputs have come from your end. Okay. And yes, you can broadly categorize. You can broadly categorize. See, remember, friends, that while writing your answers in UPSC, you have this limitation. You have this limitation on word limit. Okay, so it is very important to limit your horizon of thinking. Okay, so we will broadly classify relations into political, economic, cultural, and defense. Okay, these are the four broad heads in which we will be learning relations of India with other countries. With other countries, which are those countries we will be discussing? Okay, what is the syllabus entire international relations we will be discussing in this session? We will be going step by step. Okay, so one thing is clear: the meaning of international relations. And international relations, we are talking about India's relations with other countries. What kind of relations? Political, economic, cultural, and defense. These are the four broad heads under which we will be studying the relations. Okay, do you know under which subject or under which paper international relation is located, or international relations is part of which GS paper? Inputs please. GS2. Political science is an optional subject in general studies. I'm talking not of 3, it is part of GS2. Those who have raised their hands, they can message. GS7. There is no GS7, only GS1, 2, 3, 4. GS2. Okay. Just to brief you guys. Okay. Just to brief you guys, GS1 comprises of history, geography, and social issues. GS2 comprises of polity, social justice, and IR. IR stands for international relations. GS3 comprises of economics, science and tech, ecology and environment, internal security, and disaster management. GS4 comprises of ethics, integrity, and aptitude. This is the division of subjects in GS1, 2, 3, and 4. And we are talking about IR, international relations, which is part of GS2. Is part of GS2. Okay. Every year in the mains paper, you have questions. In GS2 paper, you have questions from IR. You have questions from IR. If I talk about 2016, 17, 18, 19, and 20. Where you had 16. GS2 is of 250 marks. Okay. So in 2016, you had 60 marks questions from IR out of 250 in GS2. 2017 50, 18 50 marks, 19 50 marks, 20 50 marks. Okay. What I mean to say is that 1/5 of the paper, 1/5 of GS2 comprises of international relations. No need to mention its importance separately. Okay. Apart from this, international relations is also a very interesting topic. You can use, concepts of international relations in internal security, that is part of GS3, in economics, that is part of again GS3 when it comes to international trading and all. Okay. You can use concepts of international relations in polity as well. Okay. That is why purposely international relations has been made part of GS2 where polity is there. And the optional also when I talk about political science and international relations, PSIR. Okay. So there is an inherent linkage between international relations and polity. That is why it is part of GS2. And the concepts of international relations are also being used in economics, internal security, and such like subjects. Okay. You cannot ignore the importance of international relations. Okay. Apart from it, international relations is a very fancy subject. Aspirants find it very fancy. They love talking about it because this is something which is, new and interesting to them. Okay. But my suggestion to you, if you are a serious aspirant and if you really want to crack this examination, okay, just study international relations from the exam point of view. Always be exam oriented in your learning of international relations. That is what we focus on in this educational institute. If you're going to take admission here, we will be purely focusing on exam based learning. We are not, sitting here for time pass or doing any debates on international issues, or we are not here to prove ourselves intellectuals. We are here to clear the examination. And international relations is one subject which is carrying almost 50 marks almost every year in the mains examination. We will be doing it from exam point of view only. Okay, we will be restricting our focus to political relations, cultural relations, defense relations, and economic relations. We will also be learning about the evolution of relations, the history of relations. Okay, this will be our format of studying. And mind you, if you take the notes of this educational institute, or if you take the notes of international relations, of whatever I teach you, you will be able to answer each and every question in the examination. That is what you want. Obviously, there are certain updations required in international relations. I will be coming to that portion, updations. But before that, I would briefly like to discuss the syllabus of this particular subject. Okay, so let's come to the syllabus of the subject, how we will be covering it. Our first topic will be India's foreign policy. Can anybody tell me in the class that what do you mean by the term foreign policy? In the message section, please. Can anybody tell me what do you mean by foreign policy? An agreement is an input. Okay. Those who've raised their hands, please write it in the message box. Policy according to security, introduced by Jawaharlal Nehru and Indira Gandhi. The other countries' policy, about the other countries' policy, no agreement with other countries, interaction with other countries, a set of regulation, trading, set of regulation. Okay. Policy to have relationship with other countries. This is the most apt answer till now. Hatkar Saman. Policy to have relationship with other countries. Okay. 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 To keep the connection. PI. Chalo. Okay. 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 Now I will give you a briefing. Okay. It is basically a strategy for us. It is basically a strategy for us to how to have relations with other countries of the world. Okay. We can have a uniform outlook at times. We can have a uniform outlook at times for other countries, and at times we can have region specific outlook. I'll give an example to explain this. India is considered to be a very helping country. Okay, whenever there is problem, India will be there. India is also considered to be a responsible country. Okay, throughout the world, this perception or this notion is there throughout the world. Okay, so when it comes to any help, any kind of help, let's suppose in this COVID situation, India has started exporting vaccines. India had exported vaccine to 80 countries. Okay, although it also needs vaccines back home also, in India also, but it started exporting to other countries as well. Okay, so this shows the responsible nature of our country and the helping nature of our country. This is there in our ethos. This is there in our principles. Okay, so these kind of policies of India will be seen throughout the world. Okay, at one point of time, India was also ready to help Pakistan. It is not such a friendly neighbor. Okay, but since it is there in our ethos, we are ready to do it. So these are some universal principles guiding our policy, guiding us for relations with other countries. And then there can be region specific policies also. We can have a different policy with the Western Asian countries. We can have a different policy with East Asian countries. So these kind of differences also can be there. So what I mean to say is that on some points, universal principles apply. throughout the world. On some points, differences do apply. Okay, and this what forms our India foreign policy. Okay. Who formulates it? It is formulated by RAW, that is Research and Analysis Wing, and Ministry of External Affairs. Okay, along with inputs from PMO also. Okay. They form the India's foreign policy. Next is the longest topic of our syllabus, that is bilateral relations. Okay. What do you mean by the term bilateral? Bi means two, lateral means relations or direction. Okay, two-way directions. India on one side and another country on the other side. Okay, so when there comes bi means two, and India will be on one side and there will be another country on the other side. In the bilateral relations, the first and foremost is neighboring countries. Neighboring countries. We will be covering neighboring countries. I'll share an image with you and you see what all neighboring countries we have. Okay, which all neighboring countries we have. Hold on. Okay. We have Pakistan on the west. Okay. This is one such country with which we do not share such great relations presently. If we see the history, 1947, we got divided into two countries, India and Pakistan, on the basis of religion. The Britishers helped us divide. And since then, we've had four wars with Pakistan: 1948, 1965, 1971, 1999. That is the Kargil War. Throughout, we have had on and off relations with Pakistan, not so good. But after 2016 Uri attacks, we've almost dismissed all our relations. And when we revoked Article 370 of the Indian Constitution, Pakistan did not like it. Okay, so Pakistan and India's relations are at an all-time low. We will be discussing in detail what happened, why they are at an all-time low, what can happen in future. Okay, these are the details we will be studying. Second country which we will be covering is Afghanistan. It is also a country on the northwestern side of India, and technically speaking, Afghanistan shares 80 kilometers of land boundary with India. Okay, if we do not consider Pakistan occupied Kashmir. Okay, if we consider Pakistan occupied Kashmir, then as part of India, then we can say that Afghanistan shares 80 kilometers of boundary with India. But nevertheless, if we consider or not consider, Afghanistan is there just uh, beyond our border, or just near to us, very near to us. In Afghanistan, the conditions have not been good for living since very long, and they've been into a state of civil war since the 1970s, and a haven for terrorist activities. That is why it becomes important for India that India tackles its relations with Afghanistan in a proper manner. Okay, so that is basically uh, the importance of Afghanistan. Someone is asking me, what is surgical strike? Could you elaborate? Surgical strike, if I have to define it, it is basically an attack on the enemy in the territory of the enemy, in the illegally occupied territory of the enemy. Okay, that is it. Importance of map reading is that you create an image in your head, and that helps you understand the concept in a better way. Okay. Then to have China in the north, we have a lot of trade with China, roughly $95 billion in a year. We trade with China. We are on a lot of things we are dependent upon China. So it becomes important for us to, maintain our relations with China. Also, we have some border issues with China. Okay. So border issues with China will enable us, resolving border issues with China will enable us to have good relations with China. Okay, and that is why it becomes important for us to maintain our relations with China. Someone is asking me what is veto power. Veto power is a power to negate anything. Okay, to negate anything. That is it. Then you have Nepal. Nepal is sandwiched between India and China. And China is trying very hard to go to Nepal and convince Nepalis to be in their favor. But India is doing its own tactics to control China. Okay. So Nepal in this context becomes important for international relations. Okay. Another aspect is people of Nepal can freely come to India. People of India can freely go to Nepal without any visa restrictions or any kind of restrictions. They can work in each other's territories. They can have businesses in each other's territories. And do you know that in the UPSC civil services examination, even Nepali citizens can sit for the examination. They are not eligible for Indian Foreign Service. Apart from Indian Foreign Service, for all other services, they are eligible. This is the level of relations between India and Nepal. Yeah. Then we have Bhutan. Bhutan is also sandwiched between India and China, but Bhutan is a very dear friend of India. Bhutan is a very dear friend of India. Now, there was a time in 1870s when the Prince of Bhutan used to come to India daily, used to come to Delhi daily just to play tennis with Rajiv Gandhi. Okay. So this was the level of relationship between India and Bhutan has always relied on India for its trade because Bhutan is a landlocked country. It does not have any seashore. Also, Nepal is also a landlocked country. It does not have any seashore. It depends on India for its trade. Someone is constantly asking, what if we ban all the Chinese products? It is not a reality. We cannot ban all the Chinese products because we are dependent on them heavily on somehow or the other. We cannot ban. Okay. You do not have such manufacturing capability in India that you can produce all such products. Okay. Okay. So this was Bhutan. Next is Bangladesh, another neighbor in the east. We've helped this country to get formed in 1971. Before 1971, it was called as East Pakistan, and the Pakistan was called as West Pakistan. People here in East Pakistan were fed up of people in the West Pakistan. They decided to form a separate country, and Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was the founding member of Bangladesh. His party Awami League led the struggle for formation of Bangladesh and was successful in getting this country formed with the help of India. India was very instrumental. India also fought a war for this particular purpose with Pakistan in 1971. It was a 13-day war, started on 3rd of December, ended on 16th of December, and Pakistan surrendered in front of India. Okay, we will be studying about this in detail when we come to the relations. Okay. Next is Sri Lanka, one country in the south. We share cultural ties. A lot of Tamil people are there in Sri Lanka, in northern Sri Lanka. Sinhalese people are followers of Buddhism, another cultural connect with the people of Sri Lanka. So this historical connect has made our relations with Sri Lanka unavoidable, you can say. In the 1980s, Rajiv Gandhi sent an Indian peacekeeping force to neutralize the civil war which was going on in Sri Lanka. You might have seen the recent TV series, The Family Man season 2. There in the starting, you might have seen that people in northern Sri Lanka were rebels. They wanted to form their own government in Sri Lanka, and those were the Tamil. LTT was the name of the organization. Exactly. Okay. But sending IPKF was a failure. Indian Peacekeeping Force was a failure in Sri Lanka. But India again helped the government of Sri Lanka or helped negotiations between Sri Lankan government and the LTT to give northern Sri Lanka some piece of autonomy which they wanted. India brokered that peace deal, and after that also India remained very instrumental or very important in getting things forward in Sri Lanka. So we are definitely playing a very important role in Sri Lanka till date. Okay. Next country is, you see it, I'll write it here. Maldives. Okay. Again in the Indian Ocean, that is the sole importance of this country because it is located at a very strategic location. Okay. China is trying to, move inroads here in Maldives. India is also trying very hard to make its presence there in Maldives. Both the countries are trying very hard, and till now India has succeeded a lot. Okay, China has also succeeded a lot because it has been granted some island also there. Okay, why China here in Maldives? Because China wants to control the Indian Ocean. China wants to control the Indian Ocean region. That is why it wants its presence there. Okay. Okay. So this was the importance of Maldives. Okay. Importance of Maldives lies in its location basically. Okay. The next country is Myanmar, which we will be studying India's relations with Myanmar. Myanmar is in itself very important. Why? Because Myanmar is the gateway to Southeast Asia and East Asia. Myanmar is the only country which is in between Southeast Asia and India, basically. Okay. And that is why it becomes important for us to look into this. It was called Burma before, no doubt. Yes, you are right. Okay. And its name changed to Myanmar in the 20th century itself. Okay. Now, very important from exam point of view. Okay, we will be studying relations with these countries one by one. These are our neighboring countries also. Okay, but there are some interconnections also between which you have to study, which you have to think about. Like for example, when I talk about India Pakistan relations, China plays a key role. China is a friend of Pakistan. Pakistan and China both are enemy of India. You can study it like this. And China is always ready to help Pakistan. Even recently, China has helped Pakistan to launch its vaccine in the name of PakVac. Okay, so it has established. China has established a corridor through LOC or through POK, China Pakistan Economic Corridor, CPEC. Someone is mentioned also in the message section. So you have to study these dynamics also. As I told you that China is trying to make inroads in Nepal. China is trying to make inroads in Nepal and try to influence people, Nepalese people. But again, India has to play a role there, a positive role there, so that the Nepalese do not falsely get influenced by the Chinese. Okay. Chinese have also built up a port in Sri Lanka in the name of Hambantota Port. India has also built one. India also got one port in Sri Lanka. India has got a stake in Colombo port also now. Okay, so these are the dynamics which we should look in the region. Okay, so we will be studying these dynamics also because the question comes from these dynamics only. The question will not come straight away that write about India-Pakistan relations or write about India-China relations. It can come. If it comes, it is a bonus for you. If it does not come, which most chances are there, it does not come, then you should also be aware about the dynamics in the region or dynamics between countries. Okay, so that is basically our bilateral relations for neighboring countries. Next is other countries apart from our neighboring countries. Bilateral relations with other countries. Here we will study four major countries. First is USA, second is Japan, third is Israel, and fourth is Russia. Okay. When I come to USA, 2017, 18, 19, and 20 also, you have questions from India-US relations. Such is the importance of this country, India-USA. And considering the present government in USA, can anybody tell me the name of the president of USA and the vice president of USA? Both I want. President and vice president. Biden, what is Biden? I don't know Biden. Complete name. Joe Biden. Kamala Harris. Okay. Okay. So we have an aware audience. Okay. Now, Kamala Harris is of Indian origin. Okay. And there are many lawmakers this time and many people holding influential positions in USA who are of Indian origin, who have roots in India. That is very important in the present day relations with USA. We will always have an upper hand with relations with USA because we have a lot of Indians holding important positions in USA. Donald Trump is not the president now, he was the president. Okay, so relations with USA becomes important. USA is also considered to be one of the most powerful countries of the world. Okay, do you know that USA controls the entire internet of the world? And internet was an accidental invention of a military research project in 1951. Okay, USA controls it. USA has a very strong navy. USA has a very strong navy and it secures all the sea routes of the world. Okay, USA is important in countering China for us. That is why our relations with USA is important. In fact, very important in the present world. Okay. Then we have Japan. Second country which we'll be looking forward is Japan. You talk about any infrastructure project in India, you talk about any metro rail project in India, you will see Japan there. Okay. Even you might have heard about the bullet train, which is going to run from Mumbai to Ahmedabad, which is called as Mumbai Ahmedabad High Speed Rail Project, MAHSR. Okay, that is sponsored by Japan. We are given loan by Japan for this project. We are also given technology by Japan for that particular project. Okay, you name any critical infrastructure project, you will find investment by Japan over there. Okay, and we are helping Japan by giving them information technology, by giving them softwares. Okay, you see any manufacturing company like Honda, or you can say Maruti Suzuki, they are all Japanese. Yamaha, all Japanese companies. Okay, they're very high in technology. Okay, but Japan is suffering from population aging. Most of their population is aged. Okay, very few in the working age group. Okay, and India is the youngest country of the world. 65% of India's population is below 35 years of age. So we can help Japan there by supplying them labor, young labor. Okay. Japan has a lot of capital. We do not have capital. Japan is helping us by giving us capital. We are helping Japan by giving them labor. Okay. So this is how our relations with Japan are. Japan was devastated after the Second World War when USA dropped atomic bombs on Japan, atom bombs, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. All of you might have heard about it. There was widespread devastations in Japan, and till date, people in Hiroshima and Nagasaki are born with deformities. Okay, Japan was shattered. Japan's confidence was very low. In 1952, 1951-52, India gifted 2 elephants for the Tokyo Zoo so that morale of the Japanese could be boosted. And India Since then, India was on the other side in the World War II. When World War II was happening, India and Japan were on the opposite sides. Still, India helped Japan, and it is believed that India's iron ore helped Japan to develop. Okay, so this is such good relations with Japan we share presently. Okay. Next is Israel. Okay. You might all have heard recently that there is a conflict going on in Israel presently between Israel and Palestine. Okay, so just a little bit story about Israel. You get clarity about Israel, what Israel is. Yes, Hamas. Between Hamas is part of Palestine only. Okay. Israel basically is a homeland of Jews. Okay. There is a holy city. There is a holy city in the name of Jerusalem. I'll roughly draw the map of Israel. Okay. Here is the holy city, Jerusalem. It is the holy city of. It is the holy city of Jews and Muslims also. Muslims you can call Palestinians. Okay. Both have claims over this particular city, Jerusalem. Okay. In the 1800s, in the 1700s and 1800s, when came in England, Jews from Israel migrated to I am sorry, I got disconnected. So, am I audible clearly now? Is it still stucking? Wait. Okay. Is it better now? Is it better? Is it better now? Okay. Okay. So I was talking about this country Israel. Okay. This city Jerusalem is the holy city for Jews as well as Muslims. Okay. But in the 18th century and 19th century, the Jews migrated from Israel to Europe to take advantage of the Industrial Revolution and settled there in Europe. Okay. In the 1930s, 1940s, when Hitler was doing a lot of atrocities on Jews, you might have heard about the term Holocaust. He was killing the Jews ruthlessly there in Europe. He said that these Jews are basically have migrated from other country to our homeland and they are disturbing our homeland. They are not giving such opportunities It should be meant for Europeans. They're taking away all the opportunities because they were skilled. Okay, so uh, you know, they started coming back to Israel. The Jews started coming back to Israel in 1930s and 40s. Okay, so uh, in the 1930s and 40s, when the Jews came back, there was a fight among the Muslims who started thinking that this is our homeland now. This entire area is called Palestine, and this is our homeland. They had no idea that Jews will come back. They thought that Jews have gone forever. Okay, but the Jews came back in 1930s and 40s and settled here. Okay, there was a fight among the Jews, and the nations clearly declared that the territory should be divided in such a way that Jerusalem will be considered an international territory, and this and this is Palestine. This should be considered as Palestine. Is it? Am I audible clearly? Not audible clearly? I connect from another network. Am I audible now? Am I clear? Okay. 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 ठीक है. So, when in the 1930s and 40s, the Jews came back, they had a fight with the Muslims here, the Palestinians basically. They had a fight with them, and the matter went to UN. The United Nations divided the entire territory into three sections. First was Israel with the Jews, second was Palestine with the Muslims, and this territory, Jerusalem, was considered to be as an international territory over which no one had claim, but everyone could visit. The Jews also could visit their holy city. The Palestinians or the Muslims could also visit their holy city. Okay, this is how the conflict between Palestinians and Jews started. This portion basically is called as the Gaza Strip. Gaza Strip. Okay, and this portion is called as the West Bank. West Bank, this portion. Okay, and Palestinians laid claim over both of these areas, and still they are fighting. In detail, we will be going on when we study the entire this thing topic, India-Israel relations. Till 1992, India did not have any relations with Israel because the politicians here in India did not want to lose the Muslim vote bank. If they would have favored Israel, then they would have gone against the Palestinian Muslims. And going against the Palestinian Muslims means going against the Muslims of your country also. And you lose a vote bank. Okay. That is why Indians did not say anything about this country, or India did not have any relations with Israel till 1992. In 1992, we started our formal relations with Israel. And Israel today is the second or third largest arms supplier to India. It is very advanced. It has very advanced technology in with respect to army or military equipments. Okay, so this was the story of Israel. Okay. Last is Russia. Okay, in bilateral relations with other countries, last is Russia. Russia has always been an all-weather friend. Russia has always been an all-weather friend of India. It has been a friend of India since India got its independence. Okay, uh, it supported India on the Kashmir issue right then. Then in the 1971 war with Pakistan, when Bangladesh was getting formulated, Pakistan was getting the support of USA, China, and UK. We got the support of USSR. Russia was at that time called as USSR, and they all backed off. And that support, we signed a treaty with Russia in 1971, Treaty of Friendship, and that signing of the treaty helped us to win the war in very easily. Okay, I told you that the war ended in 13 days. Can be attributed to the treaty signed with Russia. Okay, Lavanya, I cannot understand what you want me to say one more time. Why didn't say India? Why didn't India have relations with Israel at that time before 1992? Is that what you want me to explain again? I cannot understand you. What India imports from Israel? India imports a lot of weapons from Israel. India imports a lot of weapons from Israel, military weapons. Yeah. Why Russia is too close to India? Because Russia has always helped India or took stand for India. Okay, Russia has also took stand for India to become part of permanent member of United Nations Security Council. Okay, so that is why India and Russia are all weather friends since India got its independence. Okay, so this all we will be covering in bilateral relations. Now, the next heading will be multilateral relations. As the name suggests, multilateral. What do you mean by the term multilateral? Multilateral simply means in multiple directions. In multiple directions. India has its look east policy, in which India is looking from Japan in the north to Australia in the south. All the countries of East Asia, Southeast Asia, ASEAN, everything is covered. Okay. Next is look west policy. We are looking towards the west, that is West Asia, from where most of our oil gets imported. The Arabian states or the Arabian countries, like you have Iraq, Iran, and then you have UAE, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Kuwait, all these countries. Yes, Dubai. So that those are covered in the look west policy. Then you have Central Asia. Central Asia covers, all the five stans: Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan. That is a very energy-rich country. Those are very energy-rich countries. You have a lot of petroleum and oil reserves there. Okay. We'll cover Central Asia. Then we will cover BRICS. Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Okay. Then we will cover European Union. We'll go to Europe. Okay. Then lastly, we will cover United Nations, in which all the countries of the world, almost all the countries of the world are members of UN. 193 member countries are there in UN. We will also be studying about this. Okay. So This will be our topics covered in the multilateral relations. Okay, and our last topic will be Indian diaspora. Can anybody tell me what do you mean by Indian diaspora? BRICS is a grouping which comprises of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. The full form of BRICS is this. It is a grouping in which all these countries are there. Okay. So SARC we will be studying in look east and look west both. Or Central Asia also can be SARC can be covered. Okay, because we will be at the center only. Don't worry. Indian diaspora. Can anybody tell me the meaning of the word diaspora? NRI. Non-resident Indians. Okay. People who have some sort of connection to India, either they or their forefathers were Indians. You know, they are not settled in India, they are settled abroad. Those are called as Indian diaspora. Okay. Very important Indian diaspora. You also had a question in 2019-20 from this topic, Indian diaspora. And Indian diaspora is very instrumental in EU. Full form is European Union. European Union. Okay. Indian diaspora in itself is very important for India. Okay. So basically, this will be the entire structure of international relations, what we are going to study in detail. And as I told you, the teaching will be simply exam based. Okay, I have purposely not answered many questions in the message section because they are coming too fast, and some of them who have I have noticed also, they are not important from exam point of view. They're not important from exam point of view. Okay, someone was asking about Prabhakaran, so I'm sorry that I will not be able to answer those questions because they're not from exam point of view. Okay, you have to look at bigger things if you are appearing for this examination. Okay, so someone is asking book list for international relations. There is no book list for international relations. I will be giving you my notes. Those notes will be sufficient. I will also be teaching you how to read newspapers. Yes, the last section is reading newspapers. Reading newspapers is very important, and you have to update those notes with the newspapers, with the current affairs. That is it. No book list, nothing. You'll be having my notes. Those notes are comprehensive in nature, totally exam centric, and by reading those notes and updating yourself with current affairs, you can go for this examination. Definitely you will be able to write or attempt all the answers of international relations.